pips of cuts this year, if inflation is significantly lower than that, you're actually net tightening more than you're loosening policy. Told you, banks are freaking out. Take a look at this. MUFG, it's both an investment bank and a lender. So I know an investment bank technically isn't a bank, but they also have banking services. Okay, whatever, who cares? MUFG, this is a big one, okay? What do they say? As the dust settles, we remain vigilant and unconvinced that the coast is clear. We've said no to the no landing narrative. We didn't go soft on soft landing, and our thesis remains that a bumpy landing can turn into a hard landing if the Fed drags out the easing cycle. That's basically what I just described about how we're actually tightening as time goes on. They say this time is not different. The longer they wait, the more they will need to cut. If the Fed delivers major cuts, it's possible they could foam the runway, lessen the impact of consumer spending, small business financing falling, and avoid causing damage to jobs. And they go over here and mention that they actually see a 50-50 risk on recession versus expansion. Although hard landing views have largely receded, the curve reminds us that perhaps the risk still lingers. They actually suggest that a recession is much more likely in the new year. So basically like Q1, Q2, which sort of aligns with JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs saying no recession right now. And even though the odds are going up this year, you start asking them about next year, the numbers start going up a little bit. It's no bueno. It's no bueno at all, okay? On top of that, they also see the rate cuts that we've already been expecting, like the September 50 basis point cut that's mostly priced in. It's priced in with like a 70% chance, 100% chance of 25 BPs. But anyway, they argue, it's actually a problem because the stock market is falling and we've already priced in these cuts. So when the cuts come, it's like, yeah, we were already expecting that. What, are you going to rally off of that? They're not very happy here at all. And, I mean, frankly, to some extent, you shouldn't be happy either. There are some serious concerns. Consider some of these other elements of concerns. Right here, I'll throw this on screen. This is Discover and Capital One showing their net charge-off ratio. Something to know about these companies is they cater to a lower income consumer, and they're struggling. They're struggling more than Taylor Swift. Now you might think, oh, Taylor Swift isn't struggling. Did you hear that she just had to cancel 3 shows because she almost got ISIS'd? Yeah, literally, apparently 2 ISIS followers, we don't know if they actually were ISIS terrorists, one of them was just 19 years old, but anyway, 2 alleged adherents to ISIS were planning a potential chemical weapons attack on the Ernst Happel Stadium during the Eras Tour. Now, this was foiled in Austria, but like, my goodness, it's scary. Goodness gracious. Anyway, it's not just these charge-off ratios going up for poor individuals, but you're starting to price in, the consumer really is starting to hit a wall. That's what we're seeing in earnings, mind you. Q3 earnings aren't great. They're not going to be great. We get those in October. And the guidance we get for Q4, I'm almost certain is going to be recessionary. But in the meantime, take a look at the consumer credit data that we just got today. Again, it isn't good. Here it is. Revolving credit monthly change. I want you to see these little red bars right here. So if we zoom or just look at the right over there, see those 2 little red nicks? Okay, we've had those 2 little red nicks now 2 times in the last 3 months. How many times did we have that before COVID? Well, in the 6 years on this chart before COVID, we had it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's it. I mean, maybe there's like a tiny little nick there on the left. I can't tell if that's green or red. But the point is, we just had 2 in 3 months. And we had 5 to 6 in 6 years. So we generally only average a red maybe once a year, if that. Now we've had 2 reds on consumer credit in literally 2 months. Now you might be saying to yourself, oh, but Kevin, I mean, consumer credit, it still rose today. Yes, it did. In fact, the St. Louis Federal Reserve, they talked specifically about this. You could actually see it. I love following them. I don't know how many people actually engage with this crap because it's really boring. I mean, they got 4 likes on their, I still call it Twitter, their X page. But anyway, in June, seasonally adjusted revolving consumer credit cards decreased $1.7 billion, while seasonally adjusted non-revolving consumer debt, like autos and student loans, rose $10.6 billion. In other words, because you're still waiting for Biden student loan forgiveness, you're seeing an explosion. This was mostly student loan forgiveness, mind you. Seeing student loan debt. Seeing an explosion in student loan debt. We're actually decreasing credit card spending, which is bad for GDP. It's recessionary. Now, it's good for people individually because hopefully they're trying to balance their finances, but the reality is most people aren't using their credit less because they have balanced finances. They're using their credit less because they're out. They're tapped out. They fully maxed out their credit. I actually think one of the first companies to go bankrupt in the next recession is going to be a firm. I got puts on that sucker, just to be transparent. I have a full thesis on that I talked with course members about, but I'll just give it to you straight here. They hold over $5 billion of their crappy debt, their buy now, pay later debt on their books, and then they finance more, like getting more cash to do more of these garbage loans against those assets. They have like $6 billion of debt secured against those crappy loans. So you are literally borrowing, assuming that asset is good, but the asset is like a rotten basket of trash. It's the first thing that people are going to stop paying, their stupid buy now, pay later loan. It's not like they're going to repossess your flight that you buy now, pay later, or your Peloton or your groceries. Maybe they might ding your credit. Maybe. There have been a lot of issues reporting buy now, pay later on credit anyway. It's like the first thing people should stop paying, and I suspect likely will stop paying. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So anyway, these are really, really bad figures from banks and what's going on with consumers. But then you gotta look and see, okay, well, what's going on with pay? Like pay and employment. Like are people at least able to get hopefully pay raises and make more money? Well, not according to the Wall Street Journal. Pay rates for new hires across industries are 7% lower than they were for new recruits for the same roles in 2022. The biggest drops have been in white-collar jobs, especially in finance. New hire pay rates down 9.2% since last year. Those are quotes from the Wall Street Journal. And I think this is going to keep happening. Most of these companies are just going to keep offering lower pay raises, lower initial salaries. They're going to advertise fewer jobs. They're going to cut hours, and eventually they'll just lay off excess staff. And I think this is going to get worse before it gets better. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, but Kevin, you know, the Federal Reserve doesn't want unemployment. Bro, do you know what the historical unemployment rate is? I want you to think about that. Right now, we are at 4.3%. What do you think the historic average unemployment rate is? In other words, how much buffer do we think the Federal Reserve has before you're actually like higher than normal unemployment? Well, the average is roughly 5.5%. In fact, you can look at this chart right here. I'll hide myself for a second so you can see it a little better. I drew this line right here where I think you sort of have the best fit for it. But it sits roughly at about 5.5%. And you can see how that spread over there on the right where I'm scribbling right there? Yeah, that's all of the room they have to potentially go up with the unemployment rate and still be at the historic average. That's crazy. Understand that if we go, every million we go up, that's like 1.5 million people out of jobs at any given time. Well, that's not good. Now, I mean, there is a little bit of relief, like McDonald's, which had its first sales decline since 2020. Well, you know, they introduced a $5 value meal. So if you want to, you know, basically die off horrible food, I shouldn't say that. Don't sue me, McDonald's, okay? $5 value meal. Unless you're in France, then you'll only get a Happy Meal for €4, which is about $5. I haven't checked the exchange rate recently, so fact check me on that. But anyway, you can also go to Jack in the Box, who's now doing munchies under $4. Hershey's, Kraft, Procter & Gamble, Amazon, all of them say sales are weakening. AI euphoria is collapsing. I mean, did you see what happened to Super Micro Trash today? Oh my gosh, a complete insanity. And we talked about this yesterday, but I want to show you something. I mean, look at this absolute trash stock right here, okay? Down 20% on the day. Yesterday in after hours, it was up at like $720, $730. So it literally had like a 40% swing over the last 24 hours, which is crazy. It's at $480 right now. But take a look at this. I want you to see this. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. You can see that right here because this is a screenshot. These are 2 screenshots here of my February 14th course member live stream archive. That's what people really like the courses for, by the way. That's what you're paying for. The lectures, the course member live streams. You know, we throw in the occasional trade alerts when I trade on a daily basis, sort of for free. But these course member live streams, this is really why I think where my like real value and perspective comes from. The trading's fun too. But look at what we said. 3 weeks after course members asked me to analyze Super Microcomputer, remind you again, February 14th, okay? 3 weeks after, Super Microcomputer.
The most important point for people to understand is that
VP pick for Kamala, and one of the reasons we're thinking he didn't get it is there was a murder story that came out of a girl that was stabbed, like, you know, 20, 30 times in the back of the head, and they called it a suicide, which is, dude, I'm telling you guys right now, if I ever kill myself, I'm not gonna jump off a building, I'm not gonna shoot myself or stab myself or my wrist. I'm gonna stab myself in the back of the head 20 times, because that's,
and then like
that makes sense, guys. It's like the Clintons, like that guy, what was his name? Remember the guy that
Vince Foster?
Vince Foster? No, was it Vince Foster? Oh, another guy.
He's the famous one. Seth Rich.
Seth Rich. Well, one of these guys hanged himself, by the way, not hung, it's a proper terminology, he's hanged himself in front of his house on a tree with the extension cord, shotgun blast to the chest, because that's what you hang yourself, then you shoot yourself with a shotgun, and then you throw the shotgun, Rob, and it doesn't get discovered for like a week, 2 weeks later, and then they go, oh yeah, he killed himself.
Mark Middleton was his name. But
was
the fact is, we got it confused with all the other people who mysteriously died that are associated with the
Dude,
Clintons.
could you imagine that? Like getting, like, no, it's that guy. No, wait, it's the 4th guy. Oh, no. It's Mark Middleton, who definitely did not commit suicide. But yeah, guys, we have Nat's on the 1s and 2s. Dante's gonna be back there. He might be DJing. Dude, we have a great show, guys. I don't even want to waste any time. I just want to get right into it. Me and Humberto, dude, we've been going back, me and you, but you've been calling it, I'll give you credit, for a while. You were like, Vinny, the UK is done, and I didn't see any of the signs until recently. Remember the stabbing of the 2 girls, and then now you have the story. This morning I sent you a link of literally fires everywhere, and the moment I sent it, what happened?
Well, London is on fire.
They deleted the next post.
Yeah, you send me a post, I clicked them, it's like 2 minutes later,
Gone. So Humberto, let us know what the hell's going on.
Alright, you guys, big fans of the show, so the segment is ready on the stabbing. Stabbing hasn't been mentioned at all, so I want to do a quick time
Do it, go.
get everyone up to speed. We had the incident that happened on July 29th. 3 young girls, 3 little girls, but they haven't been a single mention of this match. One of them was 6, 7, and 9. They were in a Taylor Swift dance party. Then some psychopath walks in and stabs and kills both of them. First of all, like, at this point, the media was working double time to run cover. Like, with something so disgusting. They run pictures of him younger. Like, the whole week, they ran pictures when he was a kid.
Hey, what's up, Ninja? How we doing? I'm doing okay. I sold 3 cars today, so I had a pretty good day. Very productive day. And you know what? I might, oh, actually, never mind. I bought some caliber the other day. I have so much caliber right now.
No, maybe he was from Hawaii and he was asking for directions to a low-cost snack.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Vinny, you've said it great. I've never heard Allah Akbar. I remember you saying this. I've never heard somebody yell Allah Akbar and then something nice happen afterward. It's like, all of a sudden we have a Sunday party and everybody gets ice cream.
Oh yeah, and yeah, Robin, you're right. And it means, you know, God is great, but when you're yelling Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, I'm just saying the majority, like world star hip hop for the Arab, it's like, oh, what the hell? Something's gonna happen. But yeah, go ahead.
So, protest started the day after this, and they were like, okay, this is too much. Kids here, we're trying to have normal society run. We want to run businesses, we want to run school, churches. So they went out on the street, and they started an anti-Muslim protest, and they began in Southport, England.
That's where it happened. That's where the stabbing happened.
That's where the stabbing happened. up, we're gonna show some videos here. Like I don't want to go into specifics, but if you can
Just show some of the madness that's
yeah,
happening.
I just want to show some of the madness so you guys get acquainted. Like if you're living under a rock and you haven't seen any of this on Twitter or so this video is very telling. This is the intention that they have behind it. Like they tried to hide this, and I want to get into the point like after presenting.
What flag is that, Umberto? Before is that?
Oh, you're good, Ninja.
This guy was
Bro, you definitely, honestly, Family Time Man, which I do not
like the family.
spin even.
And this is a Palestinian flag. I don't know what.
Yeah,
30 Amorphous later.
The guy's
But dude, Family Time matters more than Amorphous. But Family Time, bro, I don't spend nowhere near enough Family Time, and I just work a lot. Enjoy that shit. I've been hunting this. I've literally opened up 30 Amorphous, and this is the first one I've opened in 30 plus Amorphous. I shit you not.
Yeah, we're gonna go back
Go
to
ahead,
back.
Nat. Let's play.
The important thing about this guy.
Let's go!
Yeah, we'll see.
Yes, dude. I freaking God. Finally, I can make another enduring legacy. Finally.
We taking over. We taking over UK now.
Telling you exactly what.
All right, let's go to
Yeah,
the
by
next.
the way, they'll tell you their plan. Go ahead.
I don't know if it was yeah. This is them asking for Sharia law in the UK. In practice, from what I heard from my friends that live there, there's a few places that
Sharia law is gonna be in place for sure. Duh.
They wanted, they accepted it.
they accepted it, and there's a few neighborhoods there that are running Sharia law.
Look at the useless British cops just standing there.
Oh, we're gonna get into
What's
it.
this one?
Watching
What's
their
and this is a couple days ago or this is yesterday?
This was yesterday.
Can we get volume or there's no volume? Oh, there you go.
It's weird that everybody's wearing the same type
Oh,
of
they're
jacket.
kicking the white. That's a white guy on the floor. Okay, that's okay. Guys, okay, a lot of brown people. Look
What,
at my
what do they all
cousin.
stop off at the local Patagonia for
Yeah,
the
because
vests?
they're all dressed the same, right? They're all wearing
Yeah.
those big puffy jackets, and I mean, we're in America. It's August. It was like 95 degrees outside. What is the temperature like in England right now?
hot.
That everybody's dressed in these weird
it's
ski
hot.
parkers
It's hot.
together.
By the way, it's hot.
where they
and you know
come
why
from,
you wear puffy jackets? So you can conceal weapons. Because a lot of these guys had knives and swords on them. So go ahead, Umberto. What is this?
This is the graph of how the increase of the Muslim population
Can we
there.
put this up?
It hasn't reached 10% yet.
Okay.
But we can see the level of involvement in this protest, even though it's still a minority population. But we can see with the violence they're reacting. I think from the last census that there was 2018 to the next
Lucky.
census, the population increased almost 45%.
Jeez.
I think they account for 3.6 million people that live in the UK.
Wow.
Think about it this way. According to some of the latest data on that, I believe it's London and Birmingham, which are like two of the biggest cities in the UK, are majority non-white, non-native British.
And
Where
So they're
like
Finnish.
the native Britons are being pushed out and outbred and outcompeted
Oh,
by
we're gonna get-
basically an invasion.
we're gonna get fully into that. This is one of the people in charge, and this video is disgusting. On one side is him talking about the BLM riots, and on the other side he's talking about the UK riots, and they put them side to side. This one, pay attention because he's speaking on both at the same time.
Okay.
So you have to do a switching your brain.
Switch in your brain. Okay. Oh, this is the Prime Minister.
Be in no doubt, I was shocked. Those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law.
President Trump.
The police
You wanna jump in?
arrests.
Ninja? You wanna jump in or no?
Individuals will be held on remand. Charges will follow, and convictions will
The last
follow.
week has shone a spotlight
I guarantee
on the racism
you will regret taking part in this disorder,
and injustice
whether directly
experienced
or
by
those
those
whipping
with
up
black
this
and
action
minority ethnic
online.
So
And then
in the
Hey, bro, you don't have a gun.
And Becky,
off the air immediately.
Oh, damn.
And even if this a reporter.
All right, cool. Just hit me up whenever you want to
even
join.
Her life was in danger right here.
Yeah.
And they take her off the air. Like just watch
Okay,
the
let's
video.
see this. So she's reporting on the riot.
Yeah.
Community leaders have been speaking to the police as well because.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Fuck India,
But I think apologies
Uh-oh,
for the
they're coming
language
on
you're
her.
hearing,
Jesus
but
Christ.
Look.
of the anger, I think you can hear
Katie,
there.
Katie, I think we, Becky, I apologise. We
Okay. Trigger with
need
no guns.
to.
You're from the UK, bro. You don't have a gun.
And Becky, we'll have security there.
We'll have security.
We'll have security
We
there.
will
She could be
do
dead,
that and
Nigel.
apologise once again
Yeah.
She could be dead.
for
So how
Holy crap!
how
You can stop
crazy
now.
is that one of your coworkers is in actual danger, and to not show people in a bad light,
Yeah. Well,
they pulled her out of the area.
no, yeah. By the way, I would have said keep it rolling. I want, if something, God forbid, happens, no, I want the people to see it. Well, dude,
Yeah.
they're complacent. The hell with them.
We know what's going on, guys. Like, I mean, I'll let you get through, but we know what's going on.
Like, but Brandon, in a nutshell, for people that don't know, because I always ask this question,
Yeah.
what, like, in concise as you can, what is going on? Why the influx?
No, I haven't done a
Why that,
giveaway.
and then why what we're seeing?
All right, so
Haven't done a new giveaway yet. You're still in the new one, dude. Which, honestly, you're in the lead. You're definitely going to win so far. I can say that.
So, countries that don't want any part in that, how would you go about weakening that country and getting, making that goal happen? Mass immigration, piss off the people who live there, erode that culture. When they react, you arrest them.
That's it.
Yeah.
Especially like, and mind you, because the majorities are Christians in the UK. When you influx it with a bunch of people that aren't your religion, that are pretty much like dead set, because dude, Islam, they don't play games, but Sharia law and shit.
Yeah.
And you bring that into Christian. What else do they expect? They want it.
The only question asked is whether or not the guy's being bribed or blackmailed. The PM for Britain, and same thing
That's
with the other.
yeah, Brandon.
Yeah.
After seeing him punch the bag like that, I'm pretty sure they'd have something
And
on.
I want to get
Yeah.
to this last
Go,
part
go.
because we had the violence, the people in charge, and we had the media running cover, and the last thing is the armed forces of this whole thing going on. That is the police. Actual video of a police woman arresting someone for making an inappropriate post on Facebook.
Oh my
You can
God!
watch it.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
So,
What do you mean I can't have any alcohol?
I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network.
What?
Well, you can cut it here.
Wait, yeah, you can cut it.
Well, we can cut it here.
Electronic communication.
Vinny, and when you see the riots, you wonder, like, you see all these native-born British people getting beat up. Where's the police at? How come
They're not there.
They're arresting people. That's where they're busy.
Wow.
So there was an autistic 13, 14-year-old girl who was dragged out of her house in handcuffs
Yeah.
because she happened to remark to her mom that a lady cop she saw on the street earlier looked like she might have been a lesbian.
Oh.
So this girl who is very much autistic and very much freaked out by the idea of having people touch her is now in handcuffs being thrown in the back of a car because she said a lady looked like a lesbian, and that was offensive. Meanwhile, there's Muslim dudes throwing acid on little girls and attacking people with knives on a daily basis.
Stabbing all the
Like,
time.
Humberto was talking about this most recent stabbing. I think there have been 2 other stabbings since then.
Yeah, there's been 2 others.
And it's a daily occurrence.
And this is the point I want to drive here. I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been involved in soft cruise, and I know how it works. I mean,
He's doing
yeah.
research.
I've done the research, and people have been talking about soft cruise, that they start with education, and then they let people protest, like what happened with the BLM riot. They let them do it, and then they take over the government. What's happening right here is soft terrorism. It's soft terrorism because the thing that has happened in England is all these small, isolated events, like one stabbing of one people here, one stabbing there, 2 stabbings here, 1 stabbing here. They won't have a 9/11, they won't have a big terrorist attack, but they have everyone in terror. Like every time someone has to walk their daughter to school, they're scared.
Of course.
They're scared, and the police is taking the terrorist side.
Yep.
They're censoring everyone. If you guys see what they did to Tommy Robbins, that he has an organization called he used to have an organization called the EDL that is no longer valid, and they're still blaming the organization for all this violence. So what I'm saying, we all need to be glad that we live in this country where freedom of speech is a thing, where
So far, we still have it.
where the right to bear arms is a thing, because there's nothing these people can do about it. Like,
They're screwed. They're
Well,
like,
hey, no, Europe is a leading indicator of the U.S., though. They're just able to do things in Europe faster than they're able to do them here. It's not just England. It's Germany, France.
Australia.
Australia, Canada. All these countries are having the same thing happen to them. It's not a coup of the government. It's a coup of the world.
and what I want to end in is that unless revolution or civil war happens,
No, I appreciate it, Ninja.
it's over.
I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying to
Europe in
support you.
general,
Yeah, I appreciate
the
that.
damage they've done and how many people they got in Like, unless they really act up and they really stop these people on their tracks, it's over. Like, I can't see any.
And it's just a shame that the police won't do anything, though, because I get having blackmail a politician, I get having blackmail the leader of a news organization, but like, you're telling me every single cop out there is okay with this, like every single lieutenant.
I asked the same question when you talk about the FBI with us. I'm like, where are all the good people? Because one of them came and he's probably watching. Comes here, he's really cool. He's like, Vinny, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in the FBI. They're not all bad. I go, they're not all bad. But where are the
Enduring Legacy?
Up when you're watching the injustice, when you're watching illegal shit happen, why aren't you saying something? There should be a lot more than you just take the Russian collusion. Where were you guys all? Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Andy McCabe. They're all doing that shit. Jim Comey. None of y'all saying shit?
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're complicit. What, because you need the paycheck? Come on, man. That's horseshit, and it's happening, and it's gonna keep happening. And piggybacking, going to my story next, this whole Civil War talk, okay? They're pushing these people to get on the brink of Civil War. We keep hearing it here as well, okay? And all the Democrats that keep saying, Brandon, you guys crazy. They don't want you guys to get to Civil War. Okay, I saw a video the other day. I saw it at my house, and I saw it with Umberto. Guys, it got me so angry. I took my phone and threw it across my apartment and cracked my screen protector because it's glass. I had to redo it. Driving me crazy. The video that we're about to show, Nat's going to show it, is Congressman Jamie Raskin, okay? He's talking somewhere, I don't know where, a bunch of elite losers, and he says that if President Trump wins the 2024 election, he and the Democrats plan to use the 14th Amendment on January 6, 2025 to prevent Trump from taking office. He blames the Supreme Court and warns that a civil war will ensue. Nat, can you please play this video?
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, you know, they want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new sentence so we can bring depth.
What's happening? You guys, by the way, you see what's happening, right? This, like, how are you gonna invoke the 14th Amendment? And like, U.S. military? Sounds like you're gonna do some Venezuela shit.
Well, he's talking about what Congress, what the Supreme Court already voted on way back earlier this year. Remember that Colorado ballot thing that they were trying to take Trump off the ballot?
Yeah.
Supreme Court said no. But every time the Supreme Court says something the Democrats don't like, they try to take it upon themselves and say, like, oh, no, we don't like that interpretation of the law, so we're going to change it. So who's the one who's an unlawful domestic terrorist?
It's them.
Yeah.
This is some Venezuela shit. Like, if we don't get the result that we want, we do it again. And we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it
agree.
But what did Biden just pitch a couple days ago? His idea for a sweeping Supreme Court reform.
Yeah.
Of, you know, there's going to be more justices. It's going to be term limits where the president has to appoint them every, like 18 years or something?
Yeah, they're changing the rules. And guys,
if the Supreme Court was currently doing what the Democrats wanted them to do, there would be no proposal because they'd be fine with it. It's just because they think the Trump-appointed justices are, you know, doing secret Trump things that, you know, of course they didn't rule in favor of him in 2020, which, you know, sort of undermines their whole case, but that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Listen, they change the rules as they go, and when the rules don't fit their agenda, they want to change the rules. Dude, can you think about the balls of him, Rob, to say the Supreme Court's not like they're like the Supreme Court justices are sitting on their asses all day. What a scumbag.
Coming from a congressman.
From a congressman that doesn't do shit. By the way, Nat, can you put it up? Yeah, this is the 14th Amendment, guys. No person shall be a senator, representative in Congress, or elected president, vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken oath, member of Congress, as an officer of the United States, as a member of the state legislature, or as an executive judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in an insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid to comfort to the enemies therefore. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Let me explain something to you guys. Nobody has been charged with the insurrection. Not Donald Trump. None of the people that were arrested on January 6th. It's all horseshit. And this guy is basically insinuating that this is going to happen. I want to give everybody a little heads up on who, and then I'll go to you, Connor. Who Jamie Raskin is for some of you guys that don't know, because I know some of you guys saw that and was like, who the hell is that jerk? He is one of the nastiest. Guys, I'm one of those losers that watches all the all the judicial hearings from Russian collusion, Hillary Clinton, all them. He is one of the nastiest swamp creatures. That guy is the enemy of the people. Saying stuff like that, like we're gonna need bodyguards, meaning the powerful, because the hordes of the stampede of Trump people are gonna be upset. By the way, let me tell you who he is. He not only pushed the Russian collusion hoax in 2016, he was the leading supporter, one of them, of Trump's first impeachment. He served as the lead impeachment manager during Trump's second impeachment on January 6th's guided tour, and his wife. Let's just add to the family the beauty of the Raskins. Her name is Sarah Bloom Raskin. She was involved in the unmasking of General Michael Flynn during the whole spying and everything with Donald Trump. So I've been saying this for years, guys. They're gonna stop at nothing to get Donald Trump out. And look what they've done so far. I have to write it. Besides spying on his campaign, Russia collusion hoax, which people still believe that it's true, fake impeachments, COVID, which I believe, Vincent Oshana, that was all planned and all set up. One of the main reasons, are they still accountable yet, Humberto, China? Is anybody accountable for COVID?
Nobody.
Okay, moving on. They bankrupt him. They tried to remove, well, they didn't. They tried remove him from the ballots, jailing him, and they tried to murder him, okay? Which I think is crazy. We talked about this yesterday. They tried killing the front runner for the Democratic Party, the number one popular ex-president, Donald Trump. They tried to murder him, okay? And who's talking about it? Isn't it over?
Move along. Yeah.
It's over.
It's old. Get over it.
Yo, literally. But then you have people like him, like Raskin and his deep swamp. They want this war. And guys, and I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing the phrase civil war. All right, guys, for everybody out there, please stop saying they're gonna push it to a civil war. No, to hell with that shit, okay? Why are we, if the government is doing all this shit and getting away with, like, dude, trying to bankrupt the country, flooding us with illegals, which is happening in the UK, lie to us, do all this shit that's happened to us, bring the illegals that are killing our citizens. Why, when shit hits the fan, are you guys gonna want to turn on your fellow American, okay? Let's just say you live in an apartment complex, Humberto, okay? There's like 500 people in this apartment complex. The landlord is screwing you over. There's no security. They're stealing money. They're doing everything. They're letting cars get robbed. Why would you go and kill Connor, who lives in another apartment? Why? No. I'm going after the landlord, okay? And that's why, say what you want about January 6th, I'm proud of those people that went there to peacefully protest because they knew, they felt the government cheated, which they did, okay? They cheated. They went there. Yeah, they did the tear gas and all that shit. But that's what I'm talking about. You go to the source, all right? You don't kill your fellow American because that's what they want. That's what you've been saying because they want disorder. Because once the disorder happens, Humberto, what happens? Martial law.
More power,
more censorship.
Try to take the guns.
Yeah, and they want to take your guns. Stop saying that shit and stop letting
shit, my bad.
Put that in our head, bro. I'm done saying it. No civil war talk. That Raskin rat.
Ninja, I'll leave.
Don't
I'll
let
be there in
these
a second.
people go. Everything's so messed up and kill your fellow American. To hell with that. You go to them. That's the problem, and don't let them fool you. And I'm just tired of it, bro.
Well, 100%. Every citizen, whether it's Democrat, Republican, black,
How
white,
you
we
know?
have so much more in common with each other than we do with the politicians. Like,
100%.
Most extreme Democrat out there, most extreme Republican. They have more in common than either of them do with the actual politicians.
We were talking about this with Brandon. Like, in general, not just American politics, world politics. These people never optimize for the least people dead. They never like, whenever we think like, how can we get rid of the most suffering and kill the least people to get things done? That's normal human thinking. Like, less people dead, the better.
Yes.
And they optimize for their own gains, their own money, more spending on the military, more spending here, more spending there, more power, more censorship.
Well, they want 2 billion people gone. I mean, they openly say that.
They say that, yeah, 2 billion people. That's not easy. But I mean, dude, Brandon, you nailed it. Destroying the fabric of society, making everybody crazy. And then, dude, I'm telling you guys right now, they tried to kill Trump.
Ninja, make sure you vote, bro. Make sure you vote the right way.
Did we riot? Did we burn down our city? Did we
It's
kill
the most
our fellow
clearest,
Americans?
obvious choice
No, but I'm
ever.
telling you guys right now,
In
if
every
they try
generation's
the
time.
shenanigans
It's crazy.
on this election, The real patriots, the real Americans.
Make sure
we're
you
not-
vote.
we're
Make
done
sure
with
you
that
tell
shit. And
people
it's
to
not gonna be
vote.
us killing each other.
Very
okay?
important.
No. It's if they cheat again, if overnight Kamala's shit goes like this, that weird ass. Oh, dude, her and that. We're gonna get into that. I know one of you guys.
Can't be tolerated.
Just we cannot sit on our hands and just talk shit. Do not go after each other. It's not us against. It's us against them. Period. Okay? Do not be fooled. Do not be duped. Okay? I'm not gonna turn on my fellow American that's getting screwed over. And these Democrats out here that are just delusional as shit. You should see the messages that I get. You don't know who you're a cultist. I'm like, what in your life is going right in this past 4 years? You stupid moron. Like, wake up. Because this PSYOP is real, bro. They did such a good job. The media, the Democrats, like Trump, to call Trump Hitler. Like, do you understand what has to be embedded in your brain? Like yesterday on X, I was seeing these people promoting the Kamala rally. Oh my God, what a beautiful moment. This is fire. This is what we want. Trump is shaking in his boots. No, he's not, bro. Trump is not shaking his shit. And on Monday, he's going to sit in the podcast. He just did Aiden Ross. That was great. 500,000 live. And then come Monday, he's going to be on with Elon Musk. By the way, we should do a side bet. Hey, chat. I want to know if you guys chat in the chat think that on Monday there's going to be like a internet outage, and they're not going to let it happen. But I mean, he has Starlink, but he'd have to boot that up.
Oh, they're going to hit a million.
Oh, I think
3 million.
Yeah, guys, put in the chat how many live do you guys think will be on Monday, Elon and Trump on X? Live.
Forget about
live. I want to know what you guys think. But yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I know the angry patriot. I get it, but enough is enough with this rhetoric of they're gonna cheat, but for a congressman to say, hey, even if he wins, we're gonna do some tomfoolery shit and get him disqualified. Okay, Jamie Raskin, you're asking for it. Okay, you're asking for it, and you're gonna piss off a bunch of people. Anyway, moving on.
Luckily, real quick. Luckily, it said in the Constitution there that it would take 2/3 votes from the Senate and the House, so they're not going to get that.
They're not going to get it, but guess what? But his rhetoric, that attitude,
the fact of saying that,
to hell with him.
That actually gets people killed. That
That's
rhetoric.
what I'm saying.
That's violent.
Exactly.
That is violent.
Especially the term civil war conditions.
Yeah,
like that is.
Just say civil war.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it means
That
civil war.
he's calling for violence.
Yeah.
Literally calling for violence.
Us.
We don't want any violence.
No,
at all.
I don't. I
It's
won't.
called domestic terrorists if you say that on the other side.
Oh, 1,000. Yeah, but like I said, he has to get out of freaking jail free card. He's a freaking Democrat. Anyway, moving on. I don't even want to say his name. I'll let you do it, Connor. But this guy popped up on our feed a couple days ago, and everybody was like, "Where the hell has he been?" And the shit that he was saying was nuts.
Yeah. So, in the book Dante's Inferno, the lowest part of the ninth circle of hell is reserved for traitors. At the very, very bottom of hell, in the mouth of Satan himself, are the 3 biggest traitors in history. There's Brutus and Cassius, who killed Julius Caesar, and there's Judas Iscariot, who sold out Christ. The 3 of them are dangling in the mouth of Satan as he chews them for all of eternity. That was the worst punishment Dante could come up with. Apparently this week, we now also have a 4th person who's dangling over the mouth of Satan, Kyle Rittenhouse. Ironically enough, this brings us to the story of Kyle Rittenhouse of Cards. What was
By the way, did you make that?
I did.
That is so awesome.
It's a great opening, by the way.
Yeah,
Exciting.
What was apparently the next greatest betrayal in all of American politics, on par with Benedict Arnold giving over West Point to the British. This will certainly go down in history as one of the worst things that has ever happened. And it was over after 12 hours.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who may remember, Kyle Rittenhouse was a kid, I believe he was about 17 at the time, during a giant riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
BLM.
BLM riot, after the police shot Jacob Blake, a guy who is a known criminal who was attempting to get into a car with children in it, armed with a knife, when the cops shot him, and he didn't even die, so, you know, certainly someone worth rioting over. Kyle went to go help, do some cleanup. There was a riot. He brought the gun with him. He ended up shooting 3 people to dispel the common notion that he's some kind of white supremacist. Everybody he shot was white, and 2 of them were sex offenders.
Yeah, I remember one of them being a sex offender, and everybody was outraged that he shot a sex offender. And I went, wait a minute.
Rob, one of them was not only a sex offender, one of them was a pedophile. The other one was a sex offender, and the other
Yep.
guy.
The third one had some kind of criminal
I
record.
was all
as well.
on Kyle
So
Rittenhouse
guess
sides.
what? If you're gonna randomly shoot 3 people, hey, great job.
So
Yeah.
Kyle fired into a crowd of people, and 2 out of the 3 people he hit were sex offenders. Shows you what kind of people were there for that.
Yeah,
event.
exactly.
But obviously he was put on trial for murder, even though it was a pretty clear, cut and dry case of self-defense. The first guy went after him with his
Yep.
fist. Second
Tagged
guy
him
went
with
after him with a
skateboard.
skateboard. Third guy was pulling
Yep.
a gun.
Pulled out the gun.
Pretty open and shut.
Pretty
But
easy case, actually.
In the ensuing process, he sort of became a right-wing folk hero. The kid who was trying to do the right thing, used his Second Amendment rights to defend himself. That led him to meet Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. He went with his family. They got a photo op together. He was on Tucker Carlson's show back when Tucker was on Fox. He was a Turning Point USA keynote speaker a couple times. Kyle basically punched his ticket on the right with this incident, and a platform grew around him. And at the time, I remember this was right around when I first started working in media, I said something to the effect of, be careful trying to build a platform around this normal guy. It's not like he was out looking to make a name for himself. He was a kid who ended up defending himself and then was on trial for murder. That's not someone to, build a huge platform for or put up on a pedestal. This is just a normal guy who ended up in a bad situation. Well, last week we saw the end result of that. Kyle posted this video on his social media.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, outreach director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day. I support my decision, and I have no take backs.
Great, so you're just going to waste your vote.
Yes.
You're going to write somebody in who has no shot.
I never understand.
Gonna write in Ron Paul, and here we end up with the ridiculousness of the libertarian mindset on those things. I'm gonna stand by my principled take on voting for a third-party candidate. Great, you're gonna make sure Kamala Harris becomes the next president.
Good job.
And then what happens to all our gun rights? But the reaction against Kyle for this was equally as stupid, and that is what I'm here to argue, because immediately the hardcore right-wing group, particularly the MAGA base, but just the right in general, turned on him in an instant.
Yeah.
And I have a compilation here of some of the things that happened. I call out Cat Turd specifically.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar
I
with
love
him,
him.
but he's sort of the quintessential right-wing boomer mentality on social media. He has a huge following. He does, pretty good stuff, but he's very much boomer mindset, boomer pro-Trump.
Okay.
So, he immediately blocked Kyle, said, I've never in my life following politics for 40 years seen a bigger betrayal than Kyle Rittenhouse, and, this other one from Laverne Spicer, I gotta look up here to see it. How effing dare you turn against President Trump after all he did for you? Trump thought you were a really nice young man, and this whole thing, you can read that up there.
Get off going.
I try not to swear on the podcast because my mother watches the show, so I'm not going to read some of the statements. But you can see the reaction was strong. This is disloyal, this is treasonous. There were people saying, you know what, I wish Kyle had been found guilty of murder. He deserves to be in jail after this. I can't believe we put our necks out for this guy. And to be fair, MAGA base right wing really did throw a lot of money at his legal defense fund. They stuck up for him. But I want to discuss the claim that Kyle actually owes Donald Trump personally something. Forgetting about the stupidity of him writing in Ron Paul on Kyle, that's just dumb. It's a waste.
Yeah, we think Kamala's going to do your gun rights if she wins.
Exactly. So what does Kyle Rittenhouse owe Donald Trump? I took the liberty of writing out the timeline of events and of the relationship between them. So the shooting was August 25th, 2020. August 26th, Trump addressed the violence in Kenosha, but did not mention Kyle. On the 27th, he said that the case was under investigation and declined to comment. August 31st, he said it seems like he was trying to get away. It seems like self-defense. Nothing until October 2020, when Trump indirectly alluded to the incident during a speech. November 2020, during the election, he said, you know, all his stuff about law and order during the ongoing riots. He said that, you know, these violent incidents were, you know, a motivating factor for what was going on. Again, did not mention Kyle. November 19th in 2021, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges, and Trump made a statement saying it was a good verdict. In November 22nd of 2021, they met at Mar-a-Lago at Kyle's request, and Trump described him in a follow-up post as, quote, a very nice young man. And that's it. That's the relationship between them.
So what does he own?
So it's not like Trump was out there every day rallying in Kyle's defense. And who would expect him to? He was president for a time, and then he had other stuff going on. It's not like he's out there just stumping for one individual case. But it's not like these guys were best friends.
Yeah.
And certainly the MAGA supporters helped out Kyle a lot, but what's the obligation there? Does that mean that he then owes Trump his vote unquestionably? He was trying to take a principled stance and say, you know what? I don't think Trump is all that good for our Second Amendment rights. I feel like he's being given bad advice. As a single issue voter, apparently, I'm not gonna support him on that. What do you guys think?
I think
go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, no, for sure. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think Trump even acknowledging the case and then bringing you to the White House, like, sort of anoints you into this higher level.
Your breath
of awareness,
stinks, you know?
He didn't mention anything about
Your
it at
breath
all. He
stinks.
would have a fraction of the support that he had during that time. And, you know, the fact that he got to go there and has a picture with him, he's forever associated with Trump and Tucker. So what he said there...
Legacy BP patterns? Yeah, after this, I don't care.
Association with them like that.
Whatever.
So I think he owes him a lot because just Trump commenting on the case is a huge deal.
After this, leave the party, invite me, so then you can start it.
I mean, first of all, what he said, like, they blew this kid out of proportion. We're all for the First Amendment. It's fine, but I don't think him saying that would change anyone's vote. But for people like Cutter, they're pundits, and I love Cutter. I follow him. I think he does very great posting. It's very scary that someone that is supposed to be 100% on our side has, you know, an opinion that is outside of the mainstream opinion. And to be fair, this kid owes more to the Second Amendment than he owes Trump. Like, if it wasn't for the Second Amendment, he would be dead right now. Like, the Second Amendment to this kid is life and death. Like, he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Second Amendment. So he's loyal to life to save his life, literally, you know? So there's a, like, I love him. I love him to want to say names, push forward, item vote, but you know.
If you could, you would vote.
If I could, I have my priority list. But at the same time, like, if you think about loyalty, like, the Second Amendment saved his life. And there's a few things that I won't talk about because we're in the middle of a campaign, and I think it's just shitty behavior. Crap, there's the other option is Kamala Harris. At the same time, I think being fair with Cutter, block everyone that's going to Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
you know?
should.
And then will balance things out. You know, everyone that doesn't vote for Trump, Cutter needs to go there, like, you know, and block every single one of them. And then,
There's an AI can do that.
but I think this is so out of proportion. Nobody can vote
No, not at all. But I'll say mine. Rob, what do you think?
We shouldn't bring this election down to one single issue, right? Like, I really don't believe that you look at the 2024 election and go, okay, it's either gun rights or I'm going to vote for Kamala. And I think the other side of that argument should be the same for Democrats. It shouldn't be, I'm pro-life, that's the only reason, or I'm sorry, I'm pro-choice, and that's the only reason why I'm voting blue. There should be other reasons why you cast your vote this year. And some of those reasons should be the economy, illegal immigration, the fentanyl crisis,
100%.
affordability. So just to try and
Hey,
narrow
leave
this
the
down
party,
to one single
and then invite me
issue
to your party so we can
disregards
farm that.
the rest of the insanity that's going on in the United States. So what Kyle Rittenhouse is saying is, you know what? Instead of casting my vote for Trump, I'm going to cast my vote and waste my vote for Ron Paul, which in effect actually helps Kamala Harris. So what you're actually saying, Kyle Rittenhouse, is you're okay with open borders? You're okay with inflation being where it's at? You're okay with a government that lies to you? Where the where the fuck is Joe Biden? Where the fuck is the leader of the free world? Does anybody know?
No.
Where has he been? All we've read about over the past 2 or 3 weeks has been Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee. Meanwhile, we're ignoring that for the past 6 weeks prior to that, all we were talking about was invoking the 25th Amendment because Joe Biden clearly had dementia. So do you want to waste your vote and then and allow Kamala Harris and a government that has lied to you for the past 4 years and have hidden Joe Biden's cognitive decline over one issue? I don't. So that's why I'm not voting on one issue this year. I'm voting on a multitude of issues. It doesn't come down to gun rights or women's rights or reproductive rights or the border. For me, it's a combination of all of them. And who has the better stance and the better solution to all of them? Clearly, it's Joe Biden, because Kamala Harris has been in office for 4 years. She has had 4 years to fix this, and she has made this country worse. So do not waste your vote, idiot fuckface Kyle Rittenhouse, and write in Ron Paul. Just
all right,
like
you
if you're a
started.
Democrat, don't vote for Kamala Harris just for women's rights. Look at the rest of the United States. Look at all the issues that are going on, and then base your vote on that.
And a great point. And I want to answer it, Connor, because I know you want to finish up. But in regard to Joe Biden, we have Israel and Iran. I think they said the ultimatums this week. They're about to pop off a huge war that we are going to be involved in. Number one. Number
drafted.
We just Oh no, yeah. I saw a guy that had one of those forms come to his house, Rob.
Yeah.
The draft thing, the signing up for the
Selective service.
The selective service thing was so random. And then I'm 46, so I'm Gucci. I already served. But then so Israel, Iran about to kick off potentially a real.
Oh wait, you're doing that one?
World
Here,
war that we're all gonna have to get involved in, which will turn into a world war. And then we got an attack in Iraq. We got some American troops injured. Not one peep from the sitting president of the United States. So I gotta say that. And in regard to Kyle, I mean, listen, anybody right now that's publicly talking, I'm not gonna vote for this side. You are openly saying I can care less about the other side because.
Hold on one sec.
When Kamala Harris has literally said, Kyle, that she said when she's in, she's gonna take action to grab the gun. She has said it. It's on camera. She wants to come take your guns. Just because Donald Trump has some advisors or whatever, Donald Trump, trust me, if anybody is pro Second Amendment, it's Donald Trump, because those sons of bitches are protecting his ass out there. You know what I'm saying?
Single issue voters are literally
the worst.
They're terrorists. They're terrorists. They lack all
empathy
for everyone else. Yeah. It's just my thing. Number one, that's what I'm gonna do. And this decision right here is gonna cost him literally an arm and a leg. He's gonna get drafted. Hopefully not. And they're gonna send him to Iraq, Afghanistan, or Iran, and he's gonna lose an arm and a leg.
Iran, Israel, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. So
well, on the loyalty front, I have to also take issue with the fact that the right proved in this situation, as it does in many situations if you pay close enough attention, that they are willing to act just like the left.
Yeah.
If someone on the left
What are you farming for?
breaks from the
I've
party
been doing this one all day.
Party platform or decides they're going to go off in a separate direction, they are mercilessly attacked and bullied and beaten back into line. They just did the same. They just did the same thing to Kyle. We have his statement. He said at the end of his video, no takebacks. There are no takebacks on this. There was a takeback less than 12 hours later. His statement: over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump team, and I am confident that he will be the strong ally gun owners need to defend their Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every gun owner to join me in helping send him back to the White House. Take back. So his single issue stance proved to not be so principled after all. After merciless bullying by right-wing pundits like Cat Turd.
Yeah, same. I need Legacy also. I did this one a few times at work today. I was able to get 3 of these done at work today and sell 3 cars.
We proved, just like the left, that the right will bully people back into line when they step out if they challenge what everyone wants to be the central focus. And this goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier of the issue of making public figures out of private citizens whose only claim to fame is being involved in a situation one time. Kyle should not have the audience that he does. He hasn't done much significant since then, other than be the poster boy for Second Amendment rights. This other photo, a few months before the Kenosha shooting. Do you remember Mark and Patricia McCloskey?
Yes. Those two are
this photo.
The couple lawyers.
Because they were a couple in St. Louis. A large BLM mob tore down the gates of their gated community, was marching towards the mayor's house. A couple people were allegedly threatening them in their front yard. They went in and grabbed guns to defend themselves.
Gangster.
They didn't shoot anybody, but they were pointing them at them. And you can tell from the form, they're not great. Like Patricia.
She looks like a horrible James Bond.
Yeah. The recoil is going to send that pistol directly into your face, and Mark doesn't have his rifle shouldered properly. But whatever. No one's expecting someone who's trying to defend their home to be a high-speed tactical operator if they're under pressure. But again, they got this huge platform out of nowhere. Of all the media attention was on them. Mark McCloskey ran for Congress at one point. I believe he's still politically involved.
Bro, don't go around. Go up the middle. Why do you go around? Are there people over there?
Have a national
Because we're gonna hit our limit regardless.
They were just normal people trying to defend themselves. The whole thing was built up around them. They've been controversial ever since.
It sounds just like David Hogg.
Yeah.
A guy that had one instance, and it was a traumatic one. Like you had 17 of your fellow students were shot and killed. That's awful. He wasn't, and yet somehow he became this anti-gun guy, and he's been it's like the opposite of Kyle Rittenhouse. A one situation scenario gets catapulted to the spotlight, and now every word that he says is gospel.
Yeah. But also every word that he says sucks.
Yeah.
Like they're not. These aren't people who are necessarily qualified to be running a movement. Of course, having everyday average people involved in politics is important. That's how we make change. Having everyday people take up the cause to get involved in government and run for Congress, run for president, whatever. Like that's kind of the founding vision of what the country was meant to be. But at the same time, you have to understand that when you take a normal person and put them out there like that, eventually you're going to be disappointed, because that's how a normal person would react in that situation. So.
Well, Rob, stay true, because we have to move on to the next one. If you want to talk about, and I'll let you finish, Connor, but we have to wrap it up tight. You mentioned David Hogg.
Are you going to read his tweet that he put out earlier?
Yesterday he put out a tweet, and you guys could look it up yourselves. This was yesterday. This was 19 hours ago. It's Kamala and that weirdo Waltz on stage. We'll talk about weird. They're up there, and he writes, "I'm not crying right now. You are." And I write, "No, David. You're literally the only person crying because you're a beta. Go eat a steak and stop being such a pussy." And I had 30,000 replies. So,
I mean, there you go. That pretty much concludes it. Okay. David Hogg shouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
So there are no winners in this scenario. When normal people try to get involved in politics and it doesn't go well, we all lose. When the right bullies people who step out of line to force them to fall in line behind Donald Trump, we lose. Yep. When the left promotes people like David Hogg who stand on the corpses of 17 of their classmates to build a platform for themselves to get into Harvard, despite having zero qualifications for it other than having a dad in the FBI, everyone loses. So I say all that to say, like, the betrayal, it's not nearly what it was made out to be, and everything sucks.
I agree. And the last thing, Kyle won. How much money did he win?
I have no idea. The case.
He won like a couple $100 million, didn't he?
That might still be pending. I'm not sure.
All right, guys, we're gonna be moving on. Next story, Connor, great story. Brandon X is suing advertising company. Did we spell suing wrong? Is that right? All right, Brandon. Dude, guess what? I'm the idiot, okay? Because I'm like, I thought there's no X suing. I thought it was like a.
It does look weird.
X suing advertising on upper. Oh yeah. All right, so Brandon, talk to us. So X is suing an advertising company, Garm.
Yes. So Elon Musk said this week, "We tried peace for 2 years. Now it's time for war." So love this. If you're wondering why we've been hearing all this stuff about X losing money since Elon took over, it's because this organization called GARM, G-A-R-M, represents 90% of all global ad spending, and the antitrust filed by X accused the Global Alliance of Responsible Media, that GARM stands for, of colluding to convince brands to limit or to remove their advertising from X. So since between November 2022 and December 2022, when he first took it over, at least 18 brands associated with the coalition stopped advertising on Twitter, and then dozens more of the coalition members cut back spending through 2023. So think about that. Like ad revenue, that's what we got on YouTube. That's what we got.
That's how you make your living.
Yeah, that's where money comes from on social media. So like, as somebody who that'd be like buying a company and then the institution that's responsible for allowing payments to process, that like is the only way you get paid, to cut off 90% from that. So that's what happened.
Which happens all the time, by the way. The payment processing platforms deplatform people all
Well,
the
if you
time.
get canceled, look at Andrew Tate. He was canceled. They took him off PayPal, and it's like, bro, what the hell's
It's
wrong?
not like revenue source. You know, like if you like go into an industry, you have one revenue source that makes up all the revenue.
Yeah.
Then this one institution represents all the companies in that revenue source, and they say, no, we're not doing X anymore. Too risky.
How'd they find? But so, man, did they just find this out about Garm?
It's been coming out because of a House investigation. So like Shapiro was there, and the Republican committee started investigating into it. So it's Rumble and X that were targeted by this, and Twitter revenue's down 22% since 2022. And yeah, so this thing called GARM, it was started in 2019 miraculously, the year before a mass censorship campaign, and it's controlled by this thing called the World Federation of Advertisers, WAF. Which
Anything that's close to WEF world, if the word world is in your freaking title, I don't trust you.
Glad you said that, because the WF has a page where it shows, like they have they're one of their partners, the GARM institution. So
weird.
They're attached with each other.
Oh, weird.
These are some of the companies that are. It's all the big ones, like McDonald's, all the Fortune.
Oh, damn,
companies.
BP.
Yep.
Everybody's on there. You go to the next one? Or was it just this one?
No, there's like
McDonald's,
MasterCard.
McDonald's, MasterCard,
Nike.
Packard. Yeah. Damn, that's a lot, bro.
Yeah, 90% of all companies that can give you money for advertising are in this GARM thing, because they make it inconvenient for you to advertise if you're not in, because it's like a stamp of approval, like you're safe to work with if you're in GARM. But GARM seems like it's telling people not to advertise in X. So I started looking into who kind of calls the shots for this thing called GARM, and that it's like a weird organization where they take a lot of their counsel from NGOs, and we know NGOs kind of run the world. So the NGOs that they consult with are Consumers International, Amnesty International, and the Anti-Defamation League.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Defamation. What is that? 80.
I know a thing or two about those guys.
Yeah, jump right in.
Okay, so ADL in a nutshell.
The Anti-Defamation League. It exists ostensibly to identify, anti-Semitism, hate speech, that kind of stuff. If you dig into why they exist, it's actually to defend the legacy of a guy who was so obviously guilty of rape and murder that his lawyers couldn't pin it on two black guys in the Deep South in the 40s.
Who is this?
Leo Frank. Look into the life and legacy of Leo Frank, and you will see that the ADL exists just to protect his legacy, and now also apparently boycott X.
And the Amnesty International doesn't get enough heat. They're the worst. They're the worst pile of leftist shit.
Good.
They exist just to get murderers out of prison.
Every uprising, like fair uprising in South America, they will cover it up. Every time a leftist is hurt, this is a war crime. Every time something happens to someone that is conservative, they will completely ignore it. Like they burned down the whole Chile. They burned it down in 2019. They didn't do anything until the criminals put it. Then it was a world crime. They're the worst. Also,
Circle!
But I worked in the advertising industry for 10 years. Like that, I'm actually glad that they have an organization to make it public, because they've been doing this like for years. They've been doing this since I started. It's been, I don't know, 15 years since I started that. Well, if it's not done, through an organization, they will do it in the back room. They will change ads for things that they don't like. They will drop ads for things that don't align with the message. Like all the heads of every single advertising conglomerate, like every single big agency, they're a bunch of leftists, all of them. Like everyone that works on accounts, everyone that works on management, like they're the biggest DEI, net zero, like everything that we don't like. That's what they do. Now they're doing it openly, but they've been doing it for 20, 30 years, And this is actually surprising.
Yeah.
Which part, that they're calling it out, or that it's this transparent?
That is this transparent, because I got out of the industry because I couldn't stand it anymore. Because I thought that I was being dishonest, and I was doing. I was
You
doing.
have a soul. You have a soul in the content.
Not even that. Just business decisions.
No, I don't have a soul.
I'm talking about business decisions. Like every time I had to put an extra person of color, I had to do a message or whatever. Like I felt I was being dishonest with people that were paying my salary. Like for example, I work for Fiat, and they decided to do adopt a dog, thing for dog adoptions. I was like, how does this have anything to do with selling cars? Like, how many cars are we gonna sell here? Like, if the people for Fiat come to me, I'm gonna sell them more cars.
Yeah.
I want push an agenda on them, and that was the last straw that got me out of it. Thanks, Fiat.
Yeah, thanks a lot, George.
They play this thing from
So who's this?
Linda Yaccarino, the CEO for Twitter.
This is CEO of Twitter. What is she gonna say?
So she's just calling the stuff out and saying what they're gonna do.
Oh, from Garm. Okay, play it.
Uncovered by the House Judiciary Committee that a group of companies organized a systematic illegal boycott against X. It is just wrong, and that is why we are taking action. Today, we filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, 4 of its key members, and the World Federation of Advertisers. These organizations targeted our company and you, our users.
Italian?
I think so.
She's
Yaccarino.
tough. I like her.
I hope we get trust her. She's from the WEF, and everybody's freaking out about that. But
I was gonna say that because when they named her, this was like a year ago.
Yeah.
I looked at her background. I was like, oh god, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad because I didn't trust her. And she's been doing good things. She's been keeping brave. She's been keeping people accountable.
Did she turn good? Maybe is that?
I mean,
what's
I
going on?
don't know.
Well, remember, X also went after Media Matters for America because the douchebags over at Media Matters basically only have one job, and that's to take clips out of context from conservative media and make them look bad to try to get them canceled. But what they found they were doing on X was they were responsible for the advertiser boycott in the first place, because they showed a bunch of brands, look, we found ads for your company right above content praising Hitler. And then turns out the way they did that was by creating a bunch of dummy accounts and then exclusively following big brands and pro-Hitler accounts so that you would only see on your timeline those two things. But that got a bunch of subscribers to leave X, which is sort of where this whole problem came from. So they went after Media Matters, now they're going after Garm for doing this. There's a very clear campaign of, is X now the free speech platform? Well, we're going to make sure you never make another dollar.
Yep, because if you think about it, where else right now, and I love getting into these arguments with leftist Democrats, like, when you're like, by the way, it used to be this, I used to send them like a clip on YouTube, like, oh, that's your news source? And I'm like, yeah, you dumbass. Like, where are you going? Like, by the way, I'm telling you right now, Rob, the PSYOP, and I've said it, is so amazing what they did to these soft-brained, mushy-head people. It's like, my other friend's like, wait a minute, you get your news from X? I go, yeah, because it's raw. You can, guess what? There's racism, there's porn. If you focus and get your algorithm to where I just want news, I want honest, I want to see everything for myself, because journalism is dead. Okay, journalism, guys, out the window. It's finito. It's up to you to go out there and search for the information. You know what I'm saying? Filter it, figure it out, fact check, go to, find out your resources and do it on your own. Fact check your own shit, okay? Because if you go home and you just turn on CNN and that's your news, you're screwed. That's it. So go ahead,
you know what the beautiful thing about that is you're mentioning? So first of all, I think X is growing at a faster pace than YouTube. Once they get this thing squared away with how to monetize, it'll be bigger than YouTube in 5-10 years, I think.
I think so too.
It's so much faster. But second, the market's sort of solving for making sure they know who's reliable and who's not on X. So if you see some crazy headlines from an account you don't recognize, you don't take it at face value, right? But if you see from like Charlie Kirk or from what's his name, Benny Johnson, those people care about their reputation because they have a lot of followers and they've built trust. So you know who to trust and who not to.
Yeah, that's very true. I was following this guy who killed Carter. A guy that I followed on Twitter, he killed Carter.
Who's Carter?
President.
Oh, you reported that. There's a great tweet from Elon yesterday, 7:26 a.m. Responding to Konstantin Kisin, and to your point about Twitter being a news source, a guy connected with me and he wanted to know where do we get our news for BBD podcast, and I told him I pull the news from both sources. For every Fox News that I go to an NBC. For every Breitbart, I go to CNN. But I get a majority of stories and leads from X, and the reason why, and to your point, Elon's tweet yesterday, this platform provides a clear and immediate way to refute anything false in the replies and with community notes. The same is not true for legacy media who lie relentlessly, but there is no way to counter their propaganda. So when people go, well, why are you using X to get your news? Well, it's really the only news source that gets fact-checked. So that's kind of why I use it, because it's legitimately the only fact-checked news source that you can rely on, because all the other ones don't have community notes. No issue a retraction months later when
that you'll never read? Yeah, who's reading the retraction?
But in this one, you're getting real-time fact-check. Even Elon has gotten fact-checked by community notes. All right, I was wrong on that.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah, big time.
It's a great product he's turned it into.
Oh, dude, I love it. Dude, the guys have, listen, people are like, he's not building the rocket ship. Shut up.
Oh my
Shut
God.
up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. And I drool at these moments. Like I taste it like it's chocolate. When the left, you remember when the left was like, oh, you don't like them censoring and the FBI at Twitter? Then buy your own social media. Well, guess what? One of ours bought it, bitch. One of ours bought yours. And do they hate it that we get to see the truth? But anyway, all right, Brandon, great story. We're going to be moving on. Rob, Josh Shapiro, who was supposed to be the vice president, everybody thought it was going to be him. I heard something about a murder with a girl that worked for him.
Yeah, well, not worked for him, but there's a connection. But let me ask you guys, anybody here forensic pathologist? Has anybody ever worked as a coroner?
No, but my favorite show is and was and is the First 48, and I know what they do.
I watched a lot of Law and Order reruns.
Okay, but that's really
that
the
close
extent.
enough?
That's the extent, but hey, I've watched at least 7 seasons, so I think that qualifies me to know who did it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. A woman is found dead. She has 20 stab wounds to her, 10 of which are in the back of her body and in the back of her head. As you guys, with zero coroner or medical forensic experience other than watching television, what would your results be? Would you rule that as a homicide, or would you look at that and say that's a suicide?
I'd flag it as highly suspicious at the very least.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, as homicide as it gets.
By the way,
It's a suicide that she was trying to cover up.
Oh, she's trying to cover up her own suicide.
Now maybe she was holding a bunch of knives and rolled down a hill, and that's how they all.
Well, she's in an apartment, so that's a
if she was working for a Republican, it's murder. If she's a Democrat, it's
Okay, well, I don't know if she was a Republican or Democrat because she's dead and she died 12 years ago. But this is a weird story, so let's dive into it. If you guys remember last week, and why I asked that question will come into play in a little bit. But last week, this was tweeted out. This is a Mediaite story. If we could pull up the first link, Mediaite, and they're reporting. No, that's not the right one, but it's okay. Video posted by Philadelphia Mayor touting Shapiro as VP. There it is. Laughing my ass off. Did the mayor leak it? So do you guys remember last Friday, the mayor of Philadelphia, her name is Sherelle Parker. She posted a tweet with a video saying that she was proud to be supporting Harris for president and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro for vice president. Here's the tweet, and if you look at the bottom, it's got 7.5 million views.
Wow.
Now, the reports were that the mayor of Philadelphia accidentally leaked the story that Josh Shapiro was Kamala Harris's VP pick. Here is the video, if we want to play this real quick. This video was tweeted out again last Friday, 5 days before Kamala Harris makes her VP announcement, and all indications after this tweet comes out is that Josh Shapiro is getting the nod, and he will be the VP pick.
I'm Mayor Sherelle Parker, here with leaders from across our region. Kamala Harris is on the road to victory.
And the road goes through Pennsylvania.
And in Pennsylvania, we're united behind her.
The woman that's tough and can lead.
Are we ready to fight for it?
She is the right person at the right time for this job.
It's gonna do right by labor. Gonna do right by working people.
And I can't think of a better partner than our Governor Josh Shapiro.
Partner, remember that.
His policies have not only supported the working class, but have set standards for progressive leadership that benefits all citizens.
Philadelphia building trade.
IBW for Kamala Harris. Montgomery County. Bucks. Delco.
Chester.
South Philly.
We're getting behind Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris for president. And Josh Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro for vice president.
Wow.
Now
I think they got the last 12 white people left in Philly.
You stand with her. Together, we can do this. We are one city.
well, so this came out.
This came out Friday, and it's not like just some council person tweeted this out. This is the mayor of Philadelphia, the biggest city in Pennsylvania, tweeting out that Josh Shapiro is getting the nod. Now, the reports come out. Philly Magazine political writer Ernest Owens tweeted that his sources told him a staffer connected to Mayor Sherrell Parker's team accidentally posted the video early and that it wasn't actually scheduled to go out until Monday. We work in a production company. We put together videos. Guys, would that accidentally ever get produced? Imagine the amount of hours that it takes for the editors to go and put something like that together. We see it in the editing bay here. There's no way that you accidentally produce a video like that and then go ahead and leak it by accident. So that comes out on Monday. Let's fast forward to 8/5. This article comes out from the New York Post, and this is where the mysterious death of they say Aaron Greenberg, but her name is actually Ellen Greenberg. Ellen Greenberg was killed or committed suicide, depending on which variation you want to believe. She died in 2011, 20 stab wounds and an apparent suicide, but her parents have won the right to challenge the ruling and change it from suicide to a homicide. The family of Ellen Greenberg has fought against the city of Philadelphia for more than a decade to overturn the city's ruling of the death of the teacher. Her body was found inside of her apartment. The apartment was locked. She had 10 stab wounds to the back of her head and neck. She died during a blizzard on January 26th of 2011. Here are some of the photos.
Dude, are you
That's insane.
Time out. They really ruled that a suicide. You're dead serious.
Yes, while investigating Ellen's death in 2011, Philadelphia police initially suspected that the 27-year-old teacher committed suicide, noting the lack of forced entry, defensive wounds, or DNA on her body that wasn't there. Medical examiner Marlon Osborne determined the death to be a homicide, but later reversed course and amended the ruling to suicide more than a month later. So originally look how many stab wounds this woman had.
Have you ever seen somebody kill themselves, Rob, and stab?
I mean, you'd have to have an incredible pain tolerance to do that.
Oh my God.
That you would have to take some type of barbiturates or alcohol or some type of sedative to make your body not feel pain in order for you to be able to continue. And I don't even know how you stab yourself.
No,
in the
Rob,
back.
that angle, by the way, that angle is coming straight in. There's no way, unless she perfectly held it and was coming through. That's such horseshit.
Now, here's the thing. Even judges in the city of Philadelphia, and this is from the New York Post article that came out on the 5th, judges have acknowledged the, and I quote, deeply flawed investigation of Greenberg by the Philadelphia police, the DA, and the medical examiner's office. So again, this comes out on the 5th. That's Monday. So in between Friday, where the news gets leaked that Josh Shapiro is going to be the VP pick, and Tuesday's announcement, which according to insiders, Kamala Harris didn't actually make until Tuesday morning. Reports were, Connor, can you attest to this? I read online that reports were going into Monday night. Kamala had not made her decision and she needed the night to sleep on it before making the announcement on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yes, there were allegedly phone calls that took place between her and Tim Walz, and then her and Josh Shapiro. I believe it was also the New York Post that reported she ultimately liked Walz's attitude better, and there seemed to be some kind of issue that Shapiro where he seemed less confident she was going to win. And that question seems to have been what might have actually been the deciding factor.
I think it was this. I think it was Josh Shapiro's involvement in the cover-up of the murder of Ellen Greenberg, and here's why. So, this article comes out from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Again, remember timeline. Friday, they announced Josh Shapiro accidentally going to be the VP. Monday, this article comes out from the New York Post where Ellen Greenberg's family have reversed a Supreme Court ruling in the state of Philadelphia where they're going to reopen the case and look and see if it's homicide rather than suicide. This article comes out Tuesday morning before Kamala makes the announcement. Governor Josh Shapiro and the Ellen Greenberg case explained. And in this article, it details how Josh Shapiro was actually the district attorney. He was the attorney general's office with the state of Pennsylvania in 2018. When that office was tasked with reviewing the case, he stood by the city's 2011 ruling of suicide and then continued to do so through 2022. So they actually go back and look at this case, and Josh Shapiro in 2019 says, no, it's a suicide. Why does Josh Shapiro rule it a suicide? Could it be that perhaps Ellen Greenberg's fiance, and his name is Samuel Goldberg, has ties to Josh Shapiro, the Attorney General, who in 2019 ruled that the case was suicide.
And by the way, not to tell you up, every single person you said was Jewish. Yep. Shapiro, Goldberg, Greenberg, a lot of birds and a lot of steam.
Oh, we're gonna get into Schwartzman's involved.
Okay,
we're not.
Dude, is this?
It even involves the Philadelphia swanky mine line community, which real estate agents call the city's crown jewel.
So I was just,
jewel.
Yeah, I was.
What this is and what this looks like, there's a great YouTuber, and I want to give him a shout out because I found this guy's videos when I started reading about this. This guy has been doing videos about this cover-up since 2019. Oh, wow. So this is way before Josh Shapiro became common knowledge across the United States as a possible VP candidate. This guy, Gavin Fish, props to you, Gavin. Go to his website. There's like a tip jar. I'm trying to get him on the show because I think this is fascinating. Gavin does a deep dive. And Gavin writes this article that came out actually in July before any of this became public. The date on this is July 28th. And it's an opinion article. Anti-Semites shouldn't stop Josh Shapiro from getting the beef nod, but a murder cover-up should. Wow. I want to dig into the death of Ellen Greenberg and what happened that night, as well as the possible involvement by her live-in fiance, Samuel Goldberg, who has ties to Josh Shapiro. Here's how the ties break down. Sam Goldberg calls 911 January 26th of 2011 at 6:31 p.m. Remember that time. 6:31, Goldberg calls the police to report that Ellen was laying on the floor with blood everywhere. According to Goldberg, he had left their 6th floor apartment 45 minutes earlier to work out in the gym on the 1st floor. So he goes down and starts working out at 45 minutes before that takes you to what? 5:46 p.m.
5:46.
When he comes back, I mean, how can you get a workout in 45 minutes? You got to take the 6th floor down to the 1st floor to go to the
Unless
gym.
he's doing like a quick rep.
So you're getting in there real quick. And
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He comes back upstairs and tells investigators the door to their apartment was locked from the inside with a hotel swinging door lock. You know those ones that swing back and forth? They're the metal ones like that. So nobody could have broken into the apartment. He says he couldn't reach Ellen by phone, text, or email, or by shouting through the cracked door, so he broke through it and found Ellen unresponsive on the floor of the kitchen. Now, Connor, you're married. Roberto, you're married. You two eligible bachelors, very eligible and very.
We have a lot of sex.
Yeah, sure. Yep. You come home and you find the women that you're courting or having sex with, or your wives, are dead on the floor from 20 stabbing. Who's the first person that you call?
911.
911. 911. Yeah. 911. Okay, suspicious.
Well, yeah. Umberto's like, I got a guy. I got a guy.
Ray Donovan. Okay, so remember, he goes down for the workout at 5:46. He calls 911 at 6:31, but at 6:14 p.m., he actually makes his first call. He doesn't call 911. Who does he call? He calls his cousin, Cayman Schwartzman, and his uncle, James Schwartzman, who are two prominent lawyers in the city of Philadelphia. 6:26, James Schwartzman calls, the first call lasts 5 minutes, 6:14 to 6:19. So again, remember that 45-minute workout? That 45-minute workout goes from 5:46 to 6:31 when he found the body to actually 15 minutes earlier. So you're talking about a workout of 5:46 to 6:14. So you're getting a workout in
and taking the elevator and everything? Probably not.
So would you go for a quick sprint on the treadmill while you're... Well, so we're talking about a time window of 20-25 minutes that you're gone from the apartment where your fiance gets stabbed 10 times in the front and 10 times in the back. But okay, he calls Schwartzman, Cayman Schwartzman at 6:14 p.m. That call lasts 5 minutes. Then over the next 7 minutes, Sam Goldberg, Ellen Greenberg's fiance, misses several calls from his uncle, James Schwartzman, who is Cayman Schwartzman's father, who was a prominent judge in the city of Philadelphia. At 6:26, James Schwartzman tries calling again, and Sam picks up the phone. However, we don't know how long this phone call lasts. Cayman and Schwartzman actually go to the apartment building before first responders get there. Wow. They actually okay, so they go there maybe for support for Sam Goldberg, their friend, whatever. The next day, they return to the apartment, and they take from the apartment Ellen's laptop, her work laptop, another laptop, and her cell phone from the crime scene, and then return it to Philadelphia police 2 days later. Weird. In what scenario are police investigating the body of a woman, her live-in fiance who's only been missing for 24 minutes to go downstairs and go do gymming of whatever she's doing? You allow that man man's cousin and that man's uncle to come into the apartment and take her possession. But here's where the ties go back to Josh Shapiro. Judge Schwartzman, the father, James Schwartzman, one of the people that the suspect, now in my opinion suspect, Scott, or what is his name again? Steve Greenberg? I'm sorry, I'm butchered. Sam Goldberg. Sam Goldberg. Sorry, I'm mixing up all of the ethnicities in this one. Shapiro.
Bro, I'm gonna hop off.
Shapiro ends up this investigative researcher again, Gavin Fish. Go check him out. He ends up uncovering ties between Josh Shapiro and Judge James Schwartzman's daughter, Kimberly Schwartzman Kimmel. The two of them went